You're about to scroll past this. I can feel it. Your thumb is already moving. Your mind is already dismissing what it hasn't even heard yet. But what if I told you that this exact moment, this precise urge to skip, is the very pattern that's been keeping you locked in the same reality loop for years? What if the thing you're about to avoid is actually the key you've been searching for all along? This isn't coincidence. You didn't stumble here by accident. The quantum field doesn't work that way. Energy follows attention. And your attention found this frequency because something deeper than your conscious mind knows you're ready. Ready to finally break free from the cycle of chasing, consuming, and never quite arriving. Most people think manifestation is about thinking positive thoughts or visualizing their dream life with more intensity. But that's only surface level. The real shift happens not in the realm of thought, but in the space between thoughts, in the quiet pause after a breath, in the stillness beneath the noise, in the moment you choose to stop scrolling and finally allow yourself to receive. Here's the paradox. The very energy that brought you here, that restless need to keep searching, keep watching, keep gathering more information, is the same energy that's been blocking you from receiving what you truly desire. You've been living in what I call the seeking frequency, a state of constant motion, perpetual striving, always looking ahead, never truly landing in the now. Think about it. How many videos have you watched about abundance, love, or purpose? How many times have you felt that spark of inspiration, only to find yourself back in the same old patterns just days later? That's because inspiration without integration is just another form of entertainment. And integration can't happen when you're always rushing to the next thing, the next fix, the next promise of transformation. Your nervous system has been conditioned to believe the answer is always out there, in the next course, the next guru, the next technique. But what if the truth is already within you? What if the wisdom you're seeking isn't something to acquire, but something to uncover by finally stopping long enough to listen? This is where quantum physics becomes deeply practical. In the quantum field, the observer affects the observed. Your state of being, not just your thoughts, but your entire energetic signature, literally shapes which possibilities collapse into your reality. If you're always in seeking mode, grasping, striving, feeling not enough, you're broadcasting a signal of lack. And the universe, this infinite field of potential, mirrors that back to you. More chasing, more scarcity, more almost there but never quite. But right now, in this very moment, you have the power to interrupt that pattern. Not by doing more, but by doing less. Not by adding another tool to your collection, but by returning to the most powerful practice of all, reception. Because true quantum reception isn't passive, it's profoundly active. It requires the courage to stop running from yourself, to sit in the quiet, and to create space for what's already yours to finally land. Here's your first quantum shift. The next time you feel that familiar urge to scroll away, to check your phone, to move on to the next video, pause for just 60 seconds. Place your hand gently on your heart. Feel its steady rhythm. Take 3 slow, deep breaths. Not because breathing is magical, but because conscious breath creates coherence between your heart and brain. It shifts your nervous system out of fight or flight and into a state of openness, safety, and receptivity. And as you breathe, whisper softly to yourself, I am ready to receive, not I'm trying to manifest, not I hope this works. Simply, I am ready. This single phrase is a quiet revolution. It tells your entire being, your cells, your emotions, your energy field, that you're no longer chasing, you're no longer in lack. You're here now, open and available. You're signaling to the quantum field that you're done broadcasting static. You're ready to receive the signal. Do this practice for just 3 days. Every time you feel the pull to skip, to distract, to escape, pause, breathe, and whisper those words. Watch what happens, not in dramatic movie-style miracles, but in the gentle unfolding of daily life. A message from someone you needed to hear from, a sudden clarity about a decision, a resource appearing just when you need it most. This isn't wishful thinking. This is quantum mechanics in action, your coherence meeting the field's intelligence. Why does this work? Because every desire you hold, every dream, every goal, already exists as pure potential in the quantum field. The question isn't, is it possible? The question is, are you vibrationally aligned to receive it? And alignment isn't something you force through effort. It's something you allow through surrender, through stillness, through what I call conscious stopping. Conscious stopping isn't laziness or avoidance. It's a deliberate pause, an intentional break in the momentum of seeking. It's the moment you recognize that the energy you've been using to chase your desires is the same energy that's been pushing them away. When you stop resisting. And in that space, reception becomes possible. Now, here's where most manifestation teachings fall short. Your conscious mind thinks it knows what you want, but your deeper intelligence, what quantum biologists call your morphic field, knows what's truly aligned with your highest evolution. And this intelligence doesn't shout. It whispers, through subtle nudges, quiet knowings, gut feelings that feel more like truth than thought. But you can only hear these whispers when the inner noise quiets down. So here's your second quantum shift. Every morning, before you reach for your phone, before you let the world rush in, sit in stillness for just 60 seconds. Place one hand on your heart, one on your belly. Breathe slowly and deeply. As you do, say internally, I am here. I am present. I am not running today. This simple ritual creates what neuroscientists call neural coherence. Your heart rate variability becomes rhythmic. Your brainwaves synchronize. Your entire nervous system shifts into a state optimized for insight, intuition, and synchronicity. You're literally tuning your biological radio from the frequency of fear to the frequency of flow. Do this for 1 week and watch how your days begin to soften. Opportunities don't magically appear out of nowhere. They were always there, but now you're finally tuned in enough to see them. The right conversation happens at the right time. The right person shows up, not because you forced it, but because you allowed it. But understand this deeply. This journey isn't about collecting more achievements or accumulating more stuff. It's about stepping into your authentic power as a conscious creator. True manifestation isn't about manipulating reality to get what you want. It's about aligning so completely with your deepest truth that reality has no choice but to reflect it back to you. Most people try to manifest from their personality, from their ego, from their fears, from what they think they should want based on what others have. But your personality is just the tip of the iceberg. Your true consciousness extends far beyond your personal story into what quantum physicists call the unified field, the ocean of infinite potential where all possibilities exist simultaneously. When you practice conscious stopping, you're not just opening to receive material things. You're opening to receive guidance, inspiration, even downloads of wisdom from that field. You're remembering a fundamental truth. You are not separate from the creative intelligence of the universe. You are that intelligence, expressing itself through your unique perspective, your voice, your choices. And that's why trust becomes the cornerstone of this path. Your deeper wisdom often guides you in directions your personality would never choose. It might whisper about a conversation that feels vulnerable. It might nudge you toward an opportunity that makes no logical sense. It might ask you to release something you've been clinging to for years. Your mind will resist. It wants guarantees. It wants a roadmap. But quantum reality doesn't work that way. In the quantum field, multiple potential futures exist at once, in superposition, until your focused awareness collapses one into form. The path reveals itself one step at a time, not all at once. So here's your third quantum shift. And yes, it may feel uncomfortable when you receive a whisper that calm, certain inner knowing that feels less like a thought and more like a deep resonance. Act on it quickly. Don't analyze it to death. Don't wait for 5 signs. Don't let your mind talk you out of it with logic or fear. Take the small, faithful action. Send the message. Make the call. Sign up for the class. Apply for the role. Book the ticket. This is how you build a living relationship with your intuition, not through grand leaps, but through consistent small acts of trust. Each time you honor the whisper, you strengthen your connection to the field. Each time you follow through, you prove to yourself, I can trust this. And yes, sometimes the path looks like a detour. I once worked with a woman who felt a clear inner call to leave a successful career to work with at-risk youth, a field she had no experience in. Her mind was terrified. For months, it seemed like a mistake. She struggled financially, doubted herself constantly. But then, through a connection made during that messy season, she co-founded a program that transformed hundreds of lives, including her own. She discovered a purpose her old self could never have imagined. That's how quantum navigation works. You don't see the whole map. You only see the next step. But when you take it in trust, the next one appears. And over time, what once looked like random turns reveals itself as a sacred path, far more meaningful than anything your ego could have planned. So take a breath right now and declare this out loud. I trust the whispers of my deeper knowing. Say it not just to me, but to the quantum field itself. Because when you speak your truth aloud, you collapse possibility into probability. You're not just commenting, you're energetically committing to a new way of being. You're planting your flag in the ground and saying, I'm ready to live differently. And when enough of us make this declaration, we create what Rupert Sheldrake called a morphic field, a shared pattern of consciousness that makes this state of trust and alignment more accessible to everyone, because once you've learned to pause instead of rush, to receive instead of chase, to act on inner guidance instead of external noise, something profound happens. You begin to live in flow, not as a rare peak experience, but as your natural state of being. Flow isn't just about creativity or performance. It's about living in harmony with the rhythms of creation itself. It's knowing when to move and when to rest, when to speak and when to listen, when to give and when to receive. Most people live in resistance to these rhythms, forcing action when the energy isn't there, staying silent when their voice is needed. But when you're tuned in, you feel these cycles in your bones. You sense the right moment, not with your mind, but with your whole being. This requires a new relationship with time. Linear time says, be productive every second, achieve, hustle. But quantum time says, there is a season for everything. Moments for action, moments for integration. Moments for expansion, moments for contraction. When you honor these natural cycles instead of fighting them, your effectiveness multiplies. You accomplish more by doing less, but doing it at the right time, in the right way, from the right energy. If this resonates with something deep inside you, if you've been waiting your whole life for permission to live this way, then I invite you to subscribe not just to this channel, but to this frequency. Because what we're talking about isn't just content, it's a remembering. A return to who you've always been beneath the noise, the conditioning, the shoulds. You're saying yes to your own awakening. Yes to a life guided by grace, not fear. Yes to a more elegant, intuitive, and authentic way of creating. And at the deepest level, this is the truth that changes everything. You are not separate from what you desire. This isn't poetry, it's quantum physics. In the zero-point field, the ground of all reality, there is no separation between observer and observed, between you and your experience, between your consciousness and the universe's. Your desires aren't outside you, waiting to be attracted. They are aspects of your own consciousness seeking fuller expression through your life. When you long for love, It's your loving nature asking to be lived. When you seek abundance, it's your creative power asking to flow. When you crave meaning, it's your purpose asking to be embodied. This transforms manifestation completely. You're not trying to get something you lack. You're allowing something you already are to bloom through you. And like a flower, it cannot be forced. Pull the petals and you destroy it. But create the right conditions, good soil, water, light, patience, and it unfolds naturally, effortlessly, beautifully. Your life is that flower, and every practice we've discussed, conscious stopping, receptive breathing, trusting whispers, flowing with natural rhythms, these are the conditions that allow your deepest nature to emerge. That's why the pause is so powerful. It's not idleness. It's sacred space-making. It's where inspiration is born. It's where the intelligence that spins galaxies chooses to move through your decisions, your words, your presence. And when you live this way, your life becomes a work of art, not because it's perfect or easy, but because it's true. Every choice comes from your core. Every action carries your full presence. Every relationship reflects your authenticity. But remember, authenticity isn't about expressing every passing emotion or thought. That's reactivity. True authenticity flows from your essence, the awareness that watches your thoughts without being lost in them, that holds your emotions without being overwhelmed, that animates your body without being limited by it. That presence has always been there, and it's been waiting, not for you to become someone new, but for you to finally come home to who you already are.